This edition of Mac Voices is supported by Take Control Books, the answers you need now from leading experts. Visit TakeControlBooks.com to find out what you can learn. And by Mac Voices Magazine, our free Flipboard magazine that brings you some of the best Mac, iPhone, and iPad productivity tips on the web. High in signal, low in noise, just like Mac Voices, Mac Voices Magazine includes information on how you can get more out of your Apple technology. Subscribe at MacVoices.com/magazine or search for Mac Voices Magazine on Flipboard. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is it. This is the end of the road to Macstock right here. This is the last time you will hear us mention it until we go to Chicago and Woodstock, Illinois in July for Macstock. And it seems only appropriate to end this where we started it with Mr. Mike Potter, the perpetrator of Macstock. Mike, it's good to have you. Thanks for coming back.
Hello, Chuck. Yes, it is awesome to be here. Thank you so much. And actually, I always do this to you, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to hijack your show for about 30 seconds here.
Please.
Thank you so very much for the entire Road to Macstock series. I mean, it's just been fantastic watching it. I've watched every single episode, and what I find most amazing is some of these folks that I'm proud to call friends, and I've known for many, many years. I watched this interview, and because someone else is asking them questions about their life. Someone else is asking them questions about their, what they do for a living and what their relationship is to Apple products. I learned something new about them. Almost every single person you interviewed, I learned something new about, and I just think that's fantastic. And it just speaks to what Macstock is all about.
I have to tell you, I have had such a good time doing this series, and it's one of the things I wanted to talk a little bit about now that none of them are here to defend themselves. It's such an amazing group of people, and you've done such an amazing job of picking a diverse group of people to present. And then when we start getting into the topics, that's another layer of diversity.
Right.
I just think you deserve so much credit for putting just that together. Forget the rest of the conference, just the speaker set. That it's going to be fantastic.
Well, I'm not going to take credit for the awesome speakers that we have. They really are an incredibly diverse group, and one of the hallmarks of Macstock, it started last year and it's continuing this year, is the diversity of topic. And I just think that's incredibly important in terms of attracting a very broad range of users, anywhere from the outright beginners, folks who are brand new to Apple products, whether it's an iPhone or iPad or even the Mac. In fact, one attendee I know for a fact is brand new to all three. Wow. On up to folks who are quite experienced in not only coding, but in all aspects of both platforms, iOS and Mac OS. See what I did there? Mac OS. I'm getting used to it. But yeah, that's kind of what Macstock is all about. And like I said, I can't take credit for that. These folks are just awesome, and they're awesome that they stepped up and said, "Yeah, we want to take part this year."
Well, just the whole idea, and folks have heard me say this with almost all the interviews. The sessions are pretty much on the main stage are going to be 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
And the trouble is that I'm not going to get a break because I want to see everybody, and I really mean that. There was nobody that I thought, well, okay, this is one that I could skip because I probably know it or it doesn't apply to me. No, I don't think so. I want to see everybody.
Yeah, I know it's tough, and it's one thing that I really appreciate the speakers taking some time to work on their talks and making sure that they fit within these time constraints I've given. 20 minutes really isn't that short of a time. It is if you really want to get in deep with your topic, though. And I know that from podcasting. I think I'm going to be talking for 20 minutes, and here 40 minutes later, we're still jawing on the same thing.
Yeah.
But it is a way to ensure that we keep things moving, that someone who maybe isn't fully vested, fully interested in a particular topic isn't going to feel like they're wasting their time if they're sitting there through it. And I do think that if they do sit through it, if they do take the time to do just that, they'll walk away with just a little bit extra knowledge that maybe they didn't have before.
Yeah. Again, I mean, I'm just staggered by the number of things that I'm hoping to learn, or at least get,
Right.
or at least get exposed to. I
Right.
mean, that's kind of what this is about: is exposing people to some things, making them think a little bit, just helping them get more out of what they do with their technology.
Right. Right. Exactly.
I would be remiss, however, if I didn't point out one problem with the schedule.
Oh, what's that?
And that is the person you're
Don't
leading.
tell me 2 weeks before.
Well, you've made a poor choice for the person to lead off with. I can tell you that.
Oh, no. I have made an excellent choice for the person to lead off with. Chuck, your talk last year, and by the way, we're talking about you. Your talk last year was one of the most memorable talks for me personally. It really touched me, and I'm proud to have you as the leadoff speaker this year.
Well, I really appreciate it. I'll do my best to live up to you. I have something in particular in mind that I hope will help set the trend for the weekend, but we'll see. And I haven't even told you what that is.
In a positive way.
In a positive way. Yes. So it'll either go really well or bomb. I don't know which, but we're going to go.
It's going to go fantastic.
We're going to go for it. I also would be remiss if I didn't point out that you're making a bit of a fashion statement here today.
Yes. You noticed, huh?
Yes. What's kind of hard not to with that blue.
This is what they call reflex blue, by the way.
Oh.
I learned something myself leading up to Macstock. This is the official Macstock Stadium scarf. Here, I'll even lean back a little bit so you can see this. So this is if you're a fan of soccer, if you're a fan of rugby, if you're a fan of a lot of international sports use these, but soccer in the U.S., of course, uses these too. This is a way for fans to cheer on their teams, right? This is their team colors, and this is Macstock's colors for this year is blue, and this is just. I don't know. It's just something I wanted to do something different, right? Think different is my mantra, and I know it's the mantra of almost everybody who comes to Macstock. And I saw these and I thought, boy, that is just too cool. I have to do this. And this is something that you really don't find at most conferences. And I thought, this would be a really cool way. Rather than cheering on your favorite soccer team, this would be a really cool way to cheer on your favorite speaker, wouldn't it? So anyone who's interested can get themselves a Macstock scarf at Macstock. They're going to be available there. I'm keeping them as cost-effective as possible. And, of course, all the speakers will have one, too. So
very cool. Very cool. I like it. I like it. That is, I give you credit. It's tough to find something that people haven't obtained at one point or another at this conference or that one. I don't think I've ever seen a scarf given away at a conference,
and especially at a tech conference.
Yeah, especially.
Yeah, and I'm really proud of the fact that I designed this. It's something I came up with, and I'm not sure I will do this again next year, but I hand created official stadium scarf tags for everyone, and they're all being affixed with the tags. This is kind of the core of Macstock. It was one of those things that started as a very grassroots effort last year. Barry, came up with the idea for the barbecue, which again we're having this year. Barry's barbecue is immediately following Macstock on Saturday, and it continues this year, that grassroots, homespun kind of thing. This is not some corporate cog machine turning this thing out. This is by people for people who love Apple products. And this is just a little example of it, of the kind of interesting, strange things we do at Macstock. And Stadium Scarves is one of them. Yeah. It's this year's thing. And if folks like it, I'll do more next year.
Great.
Absolutely.
Great. I like it. I'll vote for it next year. Something that I want to just confess right now, I have not done a good job on whenever I've done the road to Macstock is mention the Midwest Mac Barbecue that is in conjunction with Macstock. I tend to think of them as one event, especially now that the barbecue is at the same location. I've had it in the intros to the shows but those run in non-Road to Macstock shows. But right. I've not done a good job, and Barry couldn't be with us. If we could get him, if I can get him later today, I will append his interview to this. But
we'll slip him in.
Yeah, but if not, I want to make sure we credit Barry for just an amazing job last year and what is sure to be an amazing job this year.
Right. Yeah, it really is, and it's shaping up to be a great barbecue. One of the things that, as we talked about here on the show before, one of the things that's really going to help it stand out this year is that it is at the same location as Macstock. It's going to be right on the campus, same campus. It's McHenry County College here in Woodstock/Crystal Lake, Illinois, and it's just on the other side of where we had lunch last year. And we're going to have the tent set up and tables and chairs, and he's really upped the game on the food this year too. We've got a local caterer who's going to come out, and they're going to be grilling the food on site. So it's going to be really exciting.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So I have to come hungry.
Come hungry.
Come hungry.
Please. I don't want to take home too many leftovers.
It's going to be a little hard for me to stuff burgers or barbecue in something to go on the plane, but I'll see if I can figure it out. In your shoe, maybe. I mean, everyone has to carry plastic bags with them now to keep their toiletries in, right? Don't you have to do that still? Yeah, that's true.
So you've got a plastic bag already. Just kind of stuff it in there and cram it in your shoe, stick it in the suitcase. You'll be good. It'll be fine. You'll be perfectly healthy eating that.
Yeah,
no problem.
And of course, the security dogs won't be chasing me at all for the wrong reasons.
No problem at all.
Whenever you and I get together, this is the way it goes. It just degenerates real quick.
I apologize.
No. I also want to talk just a touch about the attendees.
Yes.
Because you obviously know who's coming. I've seen a number of tweets going out welcoming people to Macstock. My sense, because I've talked to people too that are coming, my sense is that we again have an international crowd coming to Macstock.
We do, yes. We do have an international crowd coming to Macstock again. We have many of the same folks who came last year are coming again. A gentleman from Holland is going to be there again. We've got folks from the UK coming. And, of course, one of our speakers and his wife is from Canada. So it really is an international affair. And, the majority of the folks are coming from the U.S., but there still is a fair number coming from overseas, and I think that's just so incredibly exciting, and it's humbling and gratifying that they're willing to come back again this year. I just think that's wonderful.
That's probably the biggest vote of success you could have is the people that are traveling from those distances and they're coming back again. And, we all know how it is. Some people can't make it because of schedules or conflicts.
Absolutely.
But and it's not just all those international people, but there are people coming from both coasts in the U.S., from all over the U.S. I mean, it really is one of these conferences that just is pulling everybody in.
It's just amazing. I just had someone sign up the other day who's coming up from Arizona, and they obviously, I can tell by how they signed up, they obviously heard about it through My Mac. The My Mac podcast, or perhaps one of Tim's shows, and that they listened to that and said, "Boy, I really want to be there." Is just wonderful, wonderful. Yeah.
So we really should kind of remind folks that it's not too late yet to get this done.
No, it's not too late. I am supposed to put in the food orders next week, which is July 5th. Right, it's roughly 10 days before Macstock. I'm supposed to put in the food orders, but we can do like we did last year, up to a point. In other words, if someone signs up for a ticket or they register for the conference, after that date, I can add them on. But they do need to have a rough idea of how many folks are going to be there, and that's going to be next week. Likewise, T-shirts. I'm having the T-shirts made. I finished up the design on that this week, and I'm just picking out the final colors on the shirts themselves. Again, I'm very happy with the design of the shirt this year, if I do say so myself. And I'm excited to see these in production. I'll promise to have one next time we're on the show. But there is still absolutely time for folks to get their tickets if they go to macstock2016.com. And, the MacVoices discount code is still available as well. So if you're listening to this and you think you might want to come, you can save $25 on your ticket with MacVoices 25 off. And that'll get you $25 off your admission, which is $149, and that gets you into the 2 days of the conference, the barbecue. You get lunch on Saturday. You get that T-shirt I was just talking about. So it's at $25 off, it's really a good deal. I think.
My gosh, it's a heck of a deal. You find me a conference where you're going to spend $149, get a day and a half of fantastic speakers and barbecue on top of it. It's just not going to happen.
It doesn't happen, and we'll see how the budget works after this year. If I picked the right price point or not. But the goal in picking that price point, and I was jesting a little bit there, but the goal in picking that price point is to keep it affordable. We're talking about people flying in from Holland and the UK and Canada and Arizona and New York. And, I understand and I appreciate the commitment people are making, not only for the ticket, not only for the admission to Macstock, but for their plane tickets or train tickets and hotels. I understand that. And so one of my goals is to keep it as cost effective as possible, make it a place where people feel like they can afford to come, even when they factor in all those other things.
And it's very commendable. And I certainly hope that the finances work out again. We had that discussion last year. And given that you're doing it a second time, I gather they did. So let's hope that it continues.
Get back to me in August. We'll talk.
All right. We'll have a follow-up to Macstock.
Yeah, we'll have a follow-up.
Okay, so anyone can still sign up, and
yes,
up to a point, obviously. How about accommodations? The room's still available? I know there were room blocks set aside, at least for one hotel, maybe a couple.
Yeah, there were actually 4 hotels that came forward and set up room blocks for Macstock. I will say all of those room blocks closed on June 15th. That's pretty much standard in the industry. When you reserve a room block, they shut them down about a month before the event. And that's so that they can go ahead and release those rooms for other people who might be coming into town. The Comfort Inn in Crystal Lake is sold out. We sold them out. We sold them out, Chuck. We
love it.
We sold out the Comfort Inn in Crystal Lake. The Holiday Inn in Crystal Lake still has rooms available. And unofficially, if anyone is looking to get a room there, have them reach out to me and let me know, and I will reach out to the hotel and see if we can't still get them in at a discounted rate. I can't guarantee the block rate, but maybe I can do something about getting that discounted rate. They've been very accommodating, very helpful. And then there's the Hampton Inn in McHenry, and then there's also a Holiday Inn Express on they're in Algonquin. To be perfectly frank, the McHenry and the Algonquin, they're a little far away, but they were very generous in coming forward with their room blocks. There are other hotels in the area. There's a Best Western in Woodstock. There's a number of other hotels. So there's plenty of hotels in the area, but the room blocks did close on the 15th.
Okay, good. So, and just because the room blocks are closed, you still, whether you get the discounted rate or not, you may just be able to get a room there.
Oh, sure.
So, you take a shot at it. But that's fantastic. Again, another measure of success. Anytime you sell out room blocks in hotels, not bad. Yep. Any other surprises or things that we should be aware of or prepared for when we get there?
Oh, I don't know if there are any surprises. I think I mentioned this on your show before. I certainly mentioned it on someone else's, that as much as things have changed for Macstock this year, in other words, we're now 2 days instead of 1 day. We've got double the speakers. We've got the barbecue on premises with Macstock itself. So as much as we've changed, those changes were to help the conference grow and to make it better for those who come out to it. Really, a lot has stayed the same. The pace of the talks, we're going to have the roundtable again, which was just a lot of fun. And I did find the footage of that. I know when Tim was on your show, he said, I don't know what happened to the footage. And that was kind of the kick in the butt for me to go get it. There were some problems with one of the camera shots, and it was on me. I had the issue with the footage, and I said, well, I'll just work on that later. And I'll work on it later. And I'll work on it later. And then Tim said, I don't know what happened to it. And I said, I guess I'll work on it now. So I made do with the best I could on that. And it turned out pretty well, actually. So that's now on the Macstock website. It's on the YouTube channel. And I'm looking forward to recording the talks again this year and putting them out there again.
That's great. Yeah. So even the folks that maybe can't make it for conflict reasons or other reasons, they will be eventually able to enjoy and benefit from Macstock.
Yeah, eventually it'll be a little time, maybe about, well, once I decompress, maybe about 6-8 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think that's very reasonable. It sort of harks back to the way Apple used to do things in some ways with the developer conference, where they would release the videos, they just release them later because they didn't want to detract from the experience of being there. So,
and that's some of it. And the other part is I don't really have that video exporting machine that you have.
That's pretty simple. You just export overnight. That's the way you do it.
I kind of meant the whole machine, the one that gets it edited and gets them out. And
that machine. Yeah,
that machine.
Yeah. He's on camera right now. And he doesn't get much sleep, but when he does, the machine is working.
You mean it's not a room full of minions in the little yellow guys? They're not sitting over there just cranking through all the video as you.
There's not a room full of any color of little guys. No,
that's what I envision. I envision minions working for you, getting all those videos out.
You just keep envisioning that, Mike. All right, so it's Macstock2016.com to register. All the information is there about the accommodations, the speakers. Everything. Of course, the Road to Macstock series is on my website at MacVoices.com. You can just go to the archives page or just scroll down and you'll see, everybody who has been there. I think we started the whole way back with Don McAllister and Allison Sheridan.
Yes, in Las Vegas.
When we were in Vegas for CES, or was that NAB? I don't know. I forget.
Think it was NAB. Yeah,
maybe it was. I forgot.
That was great.
But and we just wrapped up with Matt Hillier. So everybody in between has been talked to, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody.
Yeah. Oh, I am too. Yeah. It was a good way to kind of, wet your whistle for what's coming your way at Macstock. Yeah. Well, now, the toughest part was when I was reposting these on the Macstock site and coming up with a new road term to introduce each video. As I was writing a little intro to your intros on each one that I reposted on the Macstock site, and it was very difficult to come up with yet another road term to use.
Yeah. I know. Sometimes the writing up is the toughest part. Talking to people is just easy. But I thought it was important, and I still think it's very important to get to know these people a little bit even before you get there, so that now you'll feel like, at the very least, you know who they are and what they're doing, and at the very best, you'll feel like they're friends that you just haven't met yet.
Right, and that's again, nobody should feel like they can't approach one of the speakers. Nobody should feel like they can't reach out to the person sitting next to them and say, hey, that's really interesting. And have a little side conversation when that talk is over. And maybe you'll find out that you did just make a new friend or friends, or maybe you've just added a whole bunch of new people to your Twitter timeline. But everybody is very approachable. And that was an important decision in who I picked for their talks. I want people to be approachable. I want them to feel like they'll address people's questions even after the talks, even at the barbecue, which went on last year too, if you'll recall. I mean, we had conversations well into that thunderstorm that came up at Barry's place about things that were discussed that day. So I think a lot of that will be going on.
Yeah, that it seems like such an obvious point to me, but it's a great one to make, that everybody's approachable at this conference. It's you really are getting together with friends that maybe you just haven't met yet, because we have that Apple thing in common. I still don't completely understand it, and I'm hip deep in it, but it's there, and that makes us have automatic relationships.
Yeah, that's absolutely that's true, and that's at the heart of what Macstock is all about. It's at the core of the Apple, as it were.
That's where we're ending it right there. That's great.
Oh man,
Mike, it's great to see you. Thanks so much, and I'm looking forward then to seeing you again out at Macstock, and we're going to have a great weekend.
Excellent. I'm so looking forward to seeing you again, Chuck, and everybody else, everybody who Road to Macstock, and everybody who's attending. We have at least 30% more people coming this year than we had last year.
Wow!
So we really have a pretty good attendance, and I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody. It's going to be a great weekend. Yeah.
So for the folks that are just getting into this and all, we gave the website, Macstock2016.com. How about you? Where can folks find you, whether if they want to reach out, as you said, for the hotel or for anything else?
Oh, yeah. Well, Macstock2016.com is a great place to go if you're flying in. Be sure to check out the transportation page on there so that you can reserve a ride from and to the airport, or even in and around McHenry County if you're not going to be renting a car. The hotels are still listed, even though the blocks have closed. They're all still there with their numbers that you can call if you need to reserve a room. Of course, all the speakers and everything's there on Macstock2016.com. If you want to reach out to me, you can find me on Twitter at MacstockExpo.com or for MacEyesOnly.com, which is my podcast. And wait, did I say at for MacEyesOnly.com? No, at for MacEyesOnly is my Twitter, and for MacEyesOnly.com is my podcast. So yeah, those are probably the two best places to reach me.
Great. Well, I'm sorry that you're going to have to do so much work between now and then, but I know it'll pay off. So
it's all worth it. Worth it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I'll see you in a couple weeks.
We are almost literally 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tomorrow, as we record this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's no time at all.
No time at all.
No time at all.
I thought 6 months. Boy, woo, lots of time.
Funny how that happens. Mike, take care. We'll see you at Macstock.
All right. Thanks so much, Chuck.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. I hope to see you at Macstock. I've been saying that now during the Roads to Macstock series. I really mean it, and it's down now that you have to make a decision. So book your flight, book your hotel, Macstock, Woodstock, Illinois. Be there. Until the next time, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the Mac Voices blog, the Mac Voices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on Mac Voices magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com, bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.